Which is larger in area, Australia or Brazil? It's Brazil. Which is older, the United States or India? India, by thousands of years. Which is taller, the Eiffel Tower or the Statue of Liberty? The Eiffel Tower. Which is faster, a cheetah or a racehorse? The cheetah, no contest. Which is longer, the Nile River or the Amazon River? The Nile River. Which is colder, Antarctica or the Arctic? The ultimate deep freeze. Which has a larger population, Canada or Brazil? Brazil. Which is spoken by more people worldwide, English or Hindi? English wins. Which is heavier, a blue whale or an elephant? The blue whale, the ocean giant. Which is older, Shakespeare or Charles Dickens? Shakespeare. Which is closer to the equator, Singapore or Tokyo? Singapore. Which has more protein per gram, chicken breast or beef? Chicken breast. Which is larger in area, Russia or Africa? Africa, bigger than any country. Which came first, the printing press or the steam engine? The printing press. Which is older, the Taj Mahal or the Great Wall of China? The Great Wall. Which has more teeth, sharks or humans? Sharks, hundreds of them. Which burns more calories in an hour, running or walking? Running. Which is deeper, the Mariana Trench or the Grand Canyon? The Mariana Trench by miles. Which is longer, the Great Wall of China or the Trans-Siberian Railway? The Great Wall of China. Which has more vitamin C, oranges or guavas? Guavas, surprise winner. Which country has more UNESCO World Heritage Sites, Italy or India? Italy. Which is faster, a falcon or an eagle? The falcon, fastest animal alive. Which country drinks more tea per person? India or the United Kingdom? The United Kingdom. Which has more bones, an adult human or a baby? A baby, about 100 more. Which came first, the telephone or the radio? The telephone. Which is larger in area, the Sahara Desert or Greenland? The Sahara Desert. Which is saltier, the Dead Sea or the Great Salt Lake? The Dead Sea, float without effort. Which is older, Oxford University or Cambridge University? Oxford. Which country has more islands, Sweden or Indonesia? Sweden. Which is bigger, the Moon or Pluto? The Moon. Which is faster, light or sound? Light. Which weighs more, a kilogram of feathers or a kilogram of iron? Trick question. They weigh the same. Which is older, Buddhism or Christianity? Buddhism. Which has more legs, a spider or an insect? The spider with 8 legs. Which is stronger for its size, an ant or an elephant? The ant, tiny powerhouse. Which lasts longer, diamonds or gold? Gold, forever. Which happened first, World War I or the Russian Revolution? World War I. Which is taller, Mount Everest or K2? Mount Everest. Which planet is hotter, Mercury or Venus? Venus, thanks to its thick atmosphere. Which is heavier, lead or gold? Gold. Which is larger in area, France or Germany? France. Which has more people, Canada or Australia? Canada by millions. Which uses more electricity every year? The United States or China? China. Which came first, Windows 95 or Mac OS? Mac OS, back in the 80s. Which is closer to the North Pole, Iceland or Norway? Norway. Which city has more people, Mumbai or London? Mumbai. Which is more acidic, lemons or vinegar? Lemons. Which was founded first, Facebook or Twitter? Facebook. Which lives longer, a tortoise or a parrot? The tortoise, over 100 years. Which is spoken by more people worldwide, Spanish or Arabic? Spanish.